As we reported earlier, the federal government investigating the handling of college sex assault campuses on 55 different school campuses across the U.S. as we speak. The feds are investigating whether some of those schools' handling of these cases may actually be in violation of the law. As we told you yesterday, 4 of the 55 colleges are actually located in New York. Probes have victims from every corner of the country speaking out about their devastating experiences.
Well, we're talking about sexual harassment as more of a shove you up against a wall kind of thing.
When your dad answers the phone and you have to find a way to tell him that the one thing he never wanted to happen to his little girl had happened, or what it's like sitting in a room of Harvard professors as they look at a magnified photo of your backside covered in bruises and broken blood vessels.
It was shortly after classes that a friend of mine sexually assaulted me in his dorm room. I did fight him. I said no multiple times.
Now, Monday night, we spoke to Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut about that report. And tonight we hear from New York Democratic Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, who has been championing for a change in both the way the military sex assaults were prosecuted and now speaking out openly about the rise in the number of sexual assaults and rapes reported on college and university campuses.
These stories are so troubling because these are men and women who are being raped on a college campus where they should be able to attend school and know that they're safe. Every one of these schools is obligated by Title IX to provide a safe environment for all students, particularly women, and they're not accomplishing that. Too many schools across New York and across this country are allowing rapes to take place and then not giving justice to the victims. That has to change, and I think through reform we can get that accomplished. I think at the end of the day, it's important to let survivors decide how they want their case handled, but these are crimes. And so these are crimes that, if we're prosecuted successfully by a local DA, would have real jail time. These are felonies. So I think we need to hold perpetrators accountable. I think they should be prosecuted by as many criminal justice systems as possible that the victims will allow for, and they should be going to jail. I don't think a suspension or a slap on the wrist is adequate. And for these survivors to be asked to continue to attend school with the person who just criminally raped them is asking too much, and it is unfair and is not consistent with Title IX.
We talked about this yesterday. I'll ask you two guys as attorneys, Richard, if they want to get change quickly, and rather than the form of in an ask but a mandate, do they have to take basically the role of the school out of this and just go directly to the criminal justice system when a complaint's filed, or do you have to make it punitive for the college if this is happening on campus?
There's no magic procedural way to make this. She's doing exactly what she needs to do, which is make it clear to the broad community that there's no tolerance for this stuff. This is, in the end, a political crusade as much as it is a narrow lawyer-like crusade. And the way she's handled it, it's perfect. And in the end, it's going to change. She's going to.
What she's also asking for is $100 million for schools for resources to help investigate.
I think it's 11 actually, but
$11 million?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 100 million because we have a big country here, so it wasn't. But anyway, whatever it is, millions of dollars to help provide resources to school. I know in particular in my school, I served on the Judicial Review Board and we reviewed student misconduct. I had a case that dealt with sexual assault in which the female was intoxicated and the male not so much. And it was perceived that he took advantage of the situation, but she wasn't able to testify because she blacked out. Now, in Pennsylvania, it's illegal to have intercourse with someone who is under the influence of alcohol. Now, the school never referred that case to the state police, and so they could have. So schools have the ability to make it their policy.
Is there too much discretion when it comes to colleges?
Oh, there's a ton of discretion.
Too much?
Wait a minute.
What? How do you say too much?
Wait a minute. This description of this awful case, which should have been prosecuted, is the difficult case. What Senator Gillibrand was saying is there are cases that aren't difficult, where the acts of violence are clear, and they're still not getting the kind of prosecutorial and criminal justice attention.
But when I did speak to Senator Blumenthal, he had been to 7 different campuses. As you know, he was the former Attorney General in Connecticut, and he said, listen, the problem is overwhelmingly alcohol is involved in these cases. Overwhelmingly, the victim knows her assailant. I'm doing the female-male gender for the relationship for this particular conversation. He goes, but somehow the college is confused that makes it not okay, but too hard to prosecute. And the victim isn't encouraged to use the full abilities of the law to help get a
That's
conviction.
why this is a cultural fight.
Yeah.
And the change in culture that Senator Gillibrand is driving this country towards is exactly the remedy for these kinds of
In many
things.
ways, it's mimicking what they're doing in the military, too. Okay, RFL is going to wrap things up when we come back.